All right, hello everyone, and welcome to round two of the Schedule Matrix. And yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. This is a new whiteboard. Um, Going into this next season, I'm going to need two whiteboards anyway. So I thought about trying to, modernize and uh, do stuff like via like a PowerPoint. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, I'm old school. I kind of am stuck with this old school approach, and I don't know. It's unique, I think. So anyway, we're gonna develop a schedule. Remember, this is a fake schedule. As a matter of fact, the actual schedules are going to be released on Monday. So, Monday, I believe Monday 10 a.m. is when all your favorite teams' websites are going to go nuts saying, here's our schedule. Bam. Now, from what I understand, it is much more balanced than last year's schedule. Again, last year's schedule was kind of an aberration with a lot of the uncertainty that went on, into June and ending up with an odd number of teams and kind of having to throw something together quick. So, this year with 14 teams, it's going to be a lot different. A lot more even, a lot more balanced. You're not going to be playing the same team 20 times a year. And you're going to see more teams. You will not see all the teams. Baton Rouge isn't going to play every other team, but they should play 9 or 10. So, and that's going to be the case for all the teams. So, we're going to go back to our matrix. If you remember the fight that I had with creating a schedule last time, it was a challenge because I was looking at 13 teams. But since then, Monroe has joined the fold. So even number of teams, even number of games. It's a lot easier. I did this all in one draft, figuring this out. So I populated things according to step one, which step one is you go with your regional pods. We talked about regional pods before. Northeastern teams, Midwestern teams, Southeastern, Southwestern. Of course, we got 4-3-4-3. So that makes things a little off. You got to do some playing around, but it's a lot easier to do, again, because overall you've got an even number of teams. So I already populated this, and what I started with is rivals within the division or within your pod play each other 12 times. We have some 12s here. Again, with 3 teams in a pod for the Midwest and the Southwest, got to make up some more games. So I don't want anybody playing each other more than 12 in my schedule here. So we started with a lot of 12s and 10s. That's what you see. So like Danbury plays Binghamton 10 times, Hudson Valley 12, and Watertown 10. All right. So at the end of the first step, we have 32 games for the Northeastern teams and the Southeastern teams. Of course, because there's fewer teams in the pod, we have 24 games for these two pods. So the next step, we're going a little faster than we did last time. The next step, of course, is to balance things out by playing cross-divisional games. I am running under the assumption here that we are having 7 northern teams, 7 southern teams. Whether we call them Empire and Continental or not, who knows? But this is what I'm starting with. So we will go to step 2 and fill in the blanks for the cross-divisional games. All right, so after step 2, we have the Northwestern teams playing the Northeastern teams 4 times each. So there's an additional 12 games for Northeastern teams, an additional 16 teams for the South, for the Midwest and the Southwest as well. Another 12 for the uh, Southeastern teams. So now, after step 2, we have 44 total games for these two pods and 40 for these two pods. So we're getting closer. All right. Step 3, of course, we wanted to start filling in. We want to, we want to see as many teams as possible. So we're gonna get some some interdivisional games going. Intra is within, inter is crossing. So we are going to match these two pods together and these two pods together. And what we are going to do is we are going to, for these two pods, we're going to have matches of 4 games. And in addition, we'll also add another 2 games. Yeah, team. So it'll be 4, 6, and 4. And then for here, with these two pods, we're going to have 3, 3, 2, and 2, which I know 3 is not ideal, but it really helps balance things out in the long run. So once we get that in, then things look like this. Okay, so here we go. We got this filled in now. So yeah, like I matched Baton Rouge playing, who is it? Baton Rouge playing Motor City. Port Huron is playing Mississippi. The Dashers are playing Monroe 6 times each. The other cross pods are 4 times each. All right. With the Northeastern versus Southeastern teams, we have like Binghamton playing Athens and Columbus 3 times each. Blue Ridge and Carolina 2 times each. All right. And then Danbury is playing Blue Ridge 3 times, Carolina 3 times. So now, after this step is done, all right, we have every team on here is now at 54 games. We have a 56 game schedule, so we just have to get the last step down with getting to those games. So, but this is good. We're almost all the way there. And as you see, all right, everybody's playing a ton of teams. And you have 3, 5, 9 teams being played already by Monroe. 9 different teams that they're going to see. For Watertown, they're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 teams. Still have 2 games left to fill for everyone. So I figured the easiest thing to do is to match off the teams. Have 2 games, all right? So like Binghamton and Mississippi, because we want to, again, continue to cross, all right? Binghamton has not seen anybody from the Southwest. The River Dragons have not seen anybody from the Midwest, so on and so forth. So we're going to fill this in and pair off teams. Now, I know you're thinking ahead if you're good at math. You're saying, well, yeah, but there's only 3 teams in one pod and 4 teams in another, so somebody's going to be ending up missing up. You can pair up 12 teams, but then what do you do with the 13th and 14th teams? We'll get to that. First, let's go with the 12. All right, step 4 is done, and 12 teams are now at 56 games. And as you see now, there's a lot of teams that everybody's seeing. Obviously, the blank spaces, Binghamton wouldn't see Baton Rouge or Monroe in this case. All right. Danbury would not see Mississippi or Monroe. Um, Carolina is out of the picture because they have nothing. Um, Nothing across here. Same with Watertown. So there you go. Not Carolina. Did I say Carolina? Yeah, I did. Okay. So we're going to make our final tweak and I'll point them out. And again, keep in mind, this is a fake schedule. So it was just kind of by roll of the dice, basically, that the teams getting paired off. The last pair would be Carolina and Watertown. Of course, the teams from the Midwest and the Southwest pods have already had their schedule filled out. So I'm just giving them four instead of two games. So Carolina and Watertown in this scenario will play each other four times. But there you go. 56 games for everyone. And as you see, again, most teams see, all the teams see most of the other teams. And this is kind of somewhat similar to what I understand the actual real matrix is. All right. So, yeah, a lot more balanced. You're not going to see teams playing each other more than like 12 times. I believe that's what the plan was, is that 12 times is going to be a cap. And I think that's much more interesting for most fans. You get a little bored with seeing the same team 19, 20 times. And not picking on you guys specifically, but Port Huron and Motor City. Yeah, you guys are really close. It's an easy road trip, but when you see each other that many times, remember what the old adage is: familiarity breeds contempt, which that might create some interesting hockey. You have teams that don't really like each other because they're seeing so much of each other. But as an example, okay, this last year, everybody thought, the games again, the Binghamton versus Danbury, they see each other 18 times. They're going to be at each other's throats. And it really wasn't that way. Now, the games were good. They were very good competitive games, but they weren't brawl fests. I mean, there was what I think in the 18 games, two in which melees broke out. The other 16 games were pretty peaceful, so to speak. Again, competitive hockey, but I know from talking to Danbury fans and Binghamton fans, they were like, enough already. Yeah, big rivals, but we want to see some other teams. And I think the league got the message loud and clear. And so they said, all right, let's balance things out. So I'm curious to see, now that I've created this, how close am I going to be? Obviously, this isn't the schedule. But I'm going to be interested to see what it looks like. I'm going to be kind of doing some footnotes, kind of comparing each other. Now, of course, I did everything in increments of 12s and 10s and 4s and 2s, really easy. And it's not going to be quite that simple. But again, with 14 teams and an even number of teams, the schedule was much easier to create this next year, for this next season. So yes, you will see it Monday, 10 a.m. All right. I hope it's as good as it's being billed. Now, other things going on this next week, really quick. The draft is happening sometime this next week. I'm still not sure on the particulars as far as how they're going to do it. It sounds like the 8 playoff teams are going to kind of get pillaged, which I think sucks. But nonetheless, so it's going to be a big week for news in the Fed. So keep watch on Facebook and here on YouTube. And as I'm able, I will try and do something on Wednesday because I have Wednesday off. So we'll see. All right. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. And I hope the real Matrix is even better. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash.